Hi, this is Andrew Twidwell, owner of ABT Plumbing and Electric Heat and Air. Once again, you got this, the show of DIY do's and don'ts, and we're here to talk about those DIY do's and don'ts. I got Rosalie Brown zooming in from Dana Point, and I'm in Grass Valley, and it's a lovely day here in my neighborhood. How about your neighborhood?
It's pretty great. It's going to be hot, but not too bad. We had a heat wave a few days ago, and that was, I mean, heat waves are relative to where in the country you live, so I won't complain. But
You're not. It's not like you're in the Inland Empire or something like that, where it's
no. I
106.
mean,
Yeah,
I'm not, in the desert or anything like that, and I'm not even in
yeah.
the mountains. And I know that there was rain on the forecast for you up north, but I think that's broken down to I don't know if you've lost the rain completely. We're pre-recording this, so this won't matter to anyone who actually listens. But um, you had like maybe storm coming, and then that broke down to do you have rain or
Nothing in the forecast right now, so fingers crossed.
okay?
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, it's
But
such a scary time because you're still going to be in the midst of fire season for some time now. So hopefully you'll get the rain quickly.
yeah, yeah. The reason why we're pre-recording this because I'll be on a trip to Utah, so yeah, I won't even be around to experience if we do have that problem. But hopefully, fingers crossed, we don't have those issues. But
Can we
once
just talk
again,
about
yeah,
Utah for 1 second?
yeah,
What, why Utah? I mean, it's going to be kind of hot there, right? So like, why?
it'll be nice. So what we're doing, we're actually going to be in higher elevations. We're going down to Capitol Reef, um, Arches, and Kodachrome Park. So we're going with a few friends that most of them are retired, so they get to do whatever they want. But I'll go down and
You're
work
close.
via. I'm close, but I'll be working via Zoom and via my internet connection. But yeah, we're a bunch of cycling friends, so we're gonna go down there and go bicycling
Fun.
and hiking and checking out the park. And we've been down there quite a bit. Early on, we got an RV. My wife and I have had RVs for gosh 30 years, but when our kids were born, we really wanted to, make memories, right? And when we first started the company, yeah, money was tight. So how could you get out there? We could drive, we could camp. So the tent trailer, then the Avion trailer, which was a little nicer, and then a big fifth wheel, and now we're down to a smaller travel trailer for the two of us. And really enjoy it. It's a nice way to get out and see the country, and there's so many. I've traveled Europe. I've traveled South America, Central America, not South America, excuse me, Mexico, Central America. But yeah, there's just something about seeing the things that are in our country that I really, really enjoy. We have so much to see, and I by no means have seen it all.
Oh no,
And
you've got a long time to get that.
yeah,
Yeah, a good friend of mine who actually lives in your area, she just bought I don't know the correct term. I don't think it's technically a Sprinter van. I think it's like a shrunken down version of that. You know, those have become like the thing the last few years.
yeah,
And it's really cool though. She keeps sending me pictures of she didn't buy it brand new, she bought it off a couple that have had it for a few years and they put a ridiculously low amount of miles on it. And so she got it for a steal. She's now customizing it. And it's so funny because when I think about a customized van, I think about like
right. The '70s, yeah,
oh my God, like that, those were like a living room on wheels,
right.
and
This band's was rocking, no bother knocking
yeah, like
stickers, and
there's
yeah,
so many weird things I think of. So she sent me a picture yesterday and they're outfitting it. She just hooked up uh I guess it's an awning, right? That is completely
hmm
retractable, like it's completely independent. They put that up, they pulled it out in their like front yard, and so she's literally taking this thing camping. She's driving out to
nice,
Montana, and they're going to stop along the way and camp in their little, their little utility van. It looks like a utility van on the outside, but
yeah,
so there's all these customizations that they're going to, buy over time. And so I just thought like that was genius because Andrew, the miles per gallon she's getting on that is 26 miles per gallon. My
yeah,
car gets 26 to 28 if I take good
yeah.
care of it. So I was like, that's a game changer because that's one of the things that people don't, enjoy about having big vehicles to go see the world or see the United States in is the horrible gas mileage, right? But
Yeah.
26 miles a gallon is not so bad.
But the thing I've heard, my house gets pretty good gas mileage, and it's literally pulling my house behind me, and I'm getting 12 or something. Um, so that's not bad, right? That's not bad for a house.
Sure.
We'll stay in it for months. I mean, we've done 4 weeks in that thing, and
Well,
perfectly comfortable.
let's be clear to anyone who doesn't know you that
Those little vans though, they're kind of nice, but I like having a
I
indoor
know,
bathroom,
I know, but see, anyone who doesn't
indoor
know you,
shower, refrigerator,
no, no, no.
those
Let
three
me just
things. Oh my
let
goodness.
me just out you right now on the radio or on the video. So you and your wife, who I have known for years, and I think you guys are awesome. You guys were built for and made for a zombie apocalypse, a global pandemic. Like you guys are so like can be off the grid in like 25 minutes. I mean, if anyone I know can safely and happily quarantine in a little travel trailer, it is you and your family. And I mean, hats off to you because you've been training for this. You didn't know it was coming, and now you're totally prepared. The
We do
rest
it
of
by
us are
choice.
like, it's pretty
I
awesome.
and strangely enough, I'd rather stay in my RV than a hotel. Although I have to, there's a caveat. I've been in a couple of hotels recently that we have a little bit more money now, so we're able to stay in slightly nicer places. And yeah, some of those are nicer than my RV, but most of the time when you're traveling, you're staying at the Hilton or whatever, and they're okay, but they're not great. It's not like really sweet. Anyway, yeah,
As
those
long as
vans are
you're not
nice though. The
staying at
vans are
those,
great.
as long as you're not staying at those like crazy murder hotels on this motels on the side of the road. When I was driving through, when I was driving from the East Coast over to the West Coast, because I have to do a visual for
Yeah,
me to keep with my story.
yeah.
I took great delight in like literally pulling off the side of the road, and my daughter would go, "We're not staying there," and I would go, "Of course we're not staying there. I'm taking photographs because I am at some point in my lifetime going to make, and I'll make sure I plug it on the show, a coffee table book that is all the murdery motels that have been abandoned across this great landscape of ours. So it's going to be really cool, but I'm not going to actually stay in them. I just want to have photographic evidence of them. If you've ever traveled cross country, I know you have with a teenager,
Yeah.
when your car starts to like head into one of those parking lots, they'll let you know if that hotel motel is acceptable or not, because no one is more harsh on where you should stay than a teenager.
And they haven't spoken in like 2 hours because they're in their iPad or on their phone, and you haven't heard about hide nor hair. You don't even realize they're there. Then all of a sudden, wait, what? Nope.
Yeah,
nope.
that's
nope.
not going to work. Yeah. They're fun. They're fun. The children are our future. Here's to the children.
Yeah, here's to the kids. All right, now since we're in October, and it's time for all those fall chores, and once again, Rosalie's done an amazing job of finding some really cool content for us to go over, because I rely on her to be able to get this stuff done, because I'm not so good at getting my homework done.
Plus, you're never in town. You're rarely here. So
yeah,
someone's got to run the place. Okay,
someone's got to run the. Got to run it. So I thought we'd kind of go over. So this is a great article, and it's got a bunch of stuff. So, but I know we've been doing a lot of work on our yard, trying to get it ready for the fall and get it ready for winter. And there's some really good tips in here. One of the big ones is deadheading your plants. Fortunately, my wife is an amazing gardener now. She never thought she'd be a gardener, but she's taking it on. She's found great joy in it, and we've got a really nice yard now. But deadheading the flowers and deadheading all the plants is a really big job this time of year. It's a great thing to do it before the snow comes or before it gets too cold and they just kind of slump over and look awful. The other benefit too is you get more flowers that way. It's kind of crazy.
Right.
But deadhead that stuff, and also it'll keep down from any kind of mold or infections to the plant, any kind of insect infection, infestations, and things like that. The other one that I really like is at the top of this thing: buy a new rake. Go buy a new rake and get a good rake, because there are a lot of leaves to take care of, and it's worth spending the extra $20 or whatever to get that better rake. What do they say for flexible but durable tines scoop up debris? So a good metal rake. I've got a plastic one that's lasted me quite a few years. that's one of those things. The reason why it stuck out on me because mine's getting a little tired and then loose in the tooth. A few of the tines are gone, so yeah, I got to get a new one. But they make it really easy to scoop up leaves.
I like the old school like metal ones. Actually, those are my favorite.
They are cool. They're cool. And then when you put them into the garbage, they will disappear eventually. Unlike some of the plastic ones that'll be there forever.
Well, once again, my generation, a whole 4 years younger than you, we're here to save the planet. So you're welcome.
Yeah. Another really good thing to do right now is seed your lawn. I know I got to do that. I'm gonna do that when I get back. Seed the lawn, seed and feed your lawn. I've got not a huge lawn, probably half an acre or something like that. Not terribly huge. I know I've got friends that have got much bigger lawns than me, and yeah, get out there and feed them because you want to get them ready for the cold weather. They're going to go dormant, and if you seed it, also you'll have they'll start germinating, and those roots will go extra deep, and they'll be able to survive when it gets hot again. So take care of your lawn, and you want to do that a couple weeks after your last mow. So go ahead and feed it, and I'm not quite there yet, but near the end of October, you want to start thinking about that. The other thing too is aerate your lawn. If you've got a highly trafficked lawn, mine is fairly well trafficked because of my dogs and kind of chewed up because of my dogs. But there's a couple different ways. There's quite a few different ways of doing that. It could just be simple spikes on some shoes, or I've got a big thing that I pulled behind my tractor that came with the property that's got some big tines in it. Or you can rent one of the plug ones, which is a better way of aerating your soil. It literally pulls plugs out of the dirt and really gets air down there. And it'll make for a much healthier lawn and much healthier soil. And you won't need as much fertilizer, which is a great thing. The other one that popped up is maintaining your mower. Now this is a big one. When we bought this property about 5 years ago, it came with a ride-on mower, and I'm like, ooh, fun, a ride-on mower. I've never had one. And it was old, and it was giving me a little problems, but nothing too big. But I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go get a new one. Oh my goodness, that new one has been such a pain in my rear end. I've had more problems with that. I've replaced the carburetor 2 times. I've fuel pumps go out on it, all these things. One of the problems, the new ones seem to be a lot more sensitive to gas being left in the engine, and I'm kind of a dork and lazy, and I just would leave the fuel in the engine and in the carburetor, and it would gum up the carburetor, and I have to replace it every couple of years. So what I've done is put a valve on there so I can turn off the fuel and run the carburetor dry. But you want to make sure you get all the fuel out, and if you do have any fuel left in it, put some stabilizer in it, change the spark plug, get it ready so that when summertime comes around, you're ready to mow and you don't have to deal with all the problem of trying to get it to go. And meanwhile, the lawn's gotten really tall, and everybody, your wife or significant other is telling you, why aren't you mowing the lawn? Well, the mower's broken. Yeah.
So, what you just said about the gas and the carburetor and all that, it reminds me, it harkens me back, if you will, to when I was a young person, and we had those stand-up jet skis, not the boats people call jet skis now, but the actual like Kawasaki jet 550, like you actually stood up, and I remember specifically at the end of the day, there was this big like push, I'll never forget it, like, don't forget to blow it all out. Like my dad would literally be screaming from the dock, and I always thought like, oh, it's so loud, why is everyone doing that? And then my dad was like, hide and watch, you'll find out. So we go back, and I mean, I always did it, and then but I didn't know what I was doing. And then we would go back like the next Sunday to go to the Delta and go on these little joyrides. And our little neighbors that hadn't done that had this whole thing they had to go through to get their jet ski back on track. And so that kind of stayed with me. And to be honest with you, I never knew why he was screaming at me to do it, but I did it, and we never had that problem. So it's funny that all these years later, you still have small, engines that still are super sensitive. You've got to be very gentle with them. You got to follow the instructions, because what good is a sitting mower if it's just sitting there and can't be used?
Yeah. Yeah, and not to mention the fact that it's not cheap to get these things fixed,
Mm.
and parts on them are not inexpensive, especially these ride-on ones. I know I should have just gotten a regular push one, but I don't know. I thought it was a
But you're of a
farmer.
certain age, so you've
I
earned the
know,
sit
and
down.
there and there's something about riding the mower and having a beer in your hand on a nice summer day. It's just amazing. It brings me so much joy. It's worth all the problems because it is just fun as heck. It's kind
Next
of
time,
yeah.
let's shoot some video of that, because for me, I just have this image of like this. I don't know.
Vroom, vroom.
Yeah,
It's
I
kind of
don't
like
know.
riding a go-kart, but slow and
Super
with a
slow.
beer
Yeah.
in your hand. Love it. Um, put away your patio furniture. That's a big one. Yeah, especially with cushions and things like that. You don't want them to get moldy. Put them in the garage, put them in the attic, put them in the shed, put them in a plastic shed container thing that you got outside. Put those things away if you want them to last. And yeah, I'm sure I'm like everybody else. We used to go through a lot of pillows because we were kind of lazy and didn't put them away, and it gets expensive after a while. And now we've managed to buy all some umbrella stuff, so it lasts a lot longer. And if you take care of it, it'll last a long time. So yeah, put all that furniture away.
And you're gonna also want to, if you have an outside fantastic barbecue, especially those bigger ones that kind of stay put for the most part all year. The house I lived in previously had a built-in. It
Yeah,
was brick and it was beautiful, and it was like a little cooking station. Of course, I think I barely used it, but which is sad now. Now I wish I had, but the point of the story is, like, once the weather turns, we're not typically out there doing that. So you might want to make sure that you do that, give that a nice good scrub before you kind of put it away for the season, because when you come back to grab it in 4 to 6 months, whatever the season looks like, that's some gross stuff, man. That is
not only is it
disgusting.
gross, but it also attracts things. It attracts bugs, it attracts rodents. So you can have things living in there, and then you got a whole other mess you got to deal with. Um, so yeah, clean that out. Turn the gas off. Disconnect the propane if you're not going to use it for the season. We use ours throughout the fall and throughout the winter. But maintain it, keep it clean, because yeah, they can get nasty as heck. Especially if you're doing a lot of red meat on it. A lot of that fat gets in there. Yeah. Speaking of pests and rodents, that's another thing you really want to take care of at this time of year. As the temperature changes, a lot of rodents will be looking for shelters, and it's amazing. But a mouse can go into a hole the size of a dime. If you have a hole on the exterior of your house the size of a dime, a mouse can, if it can get its head through there, it can get its body through there. A rat can get through a hole the size of a quarter. We don't, fall, you don't really have problems with bats, but bats can also get into a hole the size of a dime. So you want to make sure to go through. It's a good idea this time of year to just walk around the perimeter of your house, check for any holes that have formed. Make sure you seal them up. Either use some wire mesh or some aluminum flashing, or some means of closing those holes off. They can't chew through. Duct tape's not going to do it. You need to use something permanent, something metal. So that you don't have the problem during the wintertime, because they will, if there's any way of getting in. We live in the mountains, we live in the foothills, there are rodents all around us. If you've got a nice little warm, dry place for them to hang out in, they're going to find a way in. So do what you can to fill those holes up. It'll save you a lot of money on pest control, and also just the hassle of having to clean out those traps, or heaven forbid having to put bait out or something like that. But yeah, check all those. And then while you're doing that walk around your house, take note, write it down. If you've got any gaps in the boards, any gaps in your windows, get some good paintable caulking and go around and caulk all those joints. If you've got wood siding, especially, water can do a lot of damage, and it's insidious. If it has any way of getting in, it will get in and can dry rot, mold, or just expanding the boards and making things not good anymore. So go around, and it's a good idea to do that once a year. Just walk around the perimeter. I do it every year. Also, really good idea this time of year. if you're comfortable, and depending on how high your roof is, get up on your roof and walk around your roof. Take a look at your roof. Make sure you don't have any flashing that's fallen off, or some shingles that have fallen off. The vents that go, the plumbing vents that go through the roof, a lot of times we're using roof jacks that have a rubber gasket on them. Those things, you know, they'll last 20, 30, 40 years, but eventually they will break down. The rubber will break down because it's being affected by UV, and we've got some really strong UV up here. Take a look at those, make sure they're still holding up, and either get some really heavy tape or some tar, some patch, and seal those holes up. But that's the kind of thing you want to look at this time of year. And we kind of strayed from gardens, but we went from gardening, and well, we'll finish off with one last thing. Plant a tree. It's a perfect time of year to plant trees. And you know, we need more trees. Well, actually, I don't need more trees. I've got too many trees. I need to take some out. But I'd like some strategically situated, beautiful trees that I can look at that change color or produce fruit or cover my neighbor. Those are the things that's on my list to do. Yeah, I don't like seeing my neighbors. What am I? I'm putting shrubs everywhere that I can see my neighbors. I live next to a trailer park.
Oh my God, you are so funny. Because all I can picture right now is Tim the Toolman Taylor with the fence that was like, you know, and the neighbor's eyes. Yeah, that's what I picture. You just want to be completely like in an oasis in your backyard. But, you know, you have a beautiful backyard. And I do agree that, you know, to maintain that aesthetic and that feel, and even, you know, hamper noise and things like that, you know, you just don't realize how much noise travels. And, you know, if you have trees in the way, it does tend to kind of knock some of that down. It's just easier to focus on your family when you're in the backyard having a good time. And there's lots of beautiful decorative trees that, I mean, let's be honest, like Nevada County's got some cool ecosystems that allow a lot of different beautiful trees to thrive. So they can be the smaller trees. They don't have to be these ginormous. We're not saying go and plant more pine trees.
Another cedar tree next to your house. Yeah. But, you know, a nice maple tree or something, or an apple tree. Yeah.
For sure.
And you know, this time of year is really good because you get them in the ground and they're pretty much dormant, but their roots will take hold because the ground's gonna be nice and wet. And so when they'll be nice and strong when summertime comes around. And with that is our show. So once again, I just want to remind everybody, it is October. We are doing this breast cancer awareness. We're doing our part to try to help the Barbara Schmidt-Millar program and donating a portion of our profits from all of our service calls to their program. We're also joined up with one of our vendors, and every time we take a picture of a service call, one of our guys is in their pink booties, their shoe covers, the floor protectors. They will donate $1 to breast cancer awareness program in their area. So please help us out and give us a call. And our phone number is 530-272-9120, 530-272-9120. If you need any plumbing, electrical, heating, or help, we can help you. You can find us also on the web at easyasabt.com. That's easyasabt.com. You can find us on Facebook at ABT Plumbing, Electric, Heat and Air, where we've got a lot of this information. We've got all our shows. We post all of our shows from the week before. We've got our videos now on there, and we will soon be blogging as well. So yeah, it's an exciting time. So thanks for listening to us, and we'll catch you guys next week.